Hello friends. In the last class we were discussing about the basis of causative agents, and we have discussed bacteria and virus, and today we have to discuss about the protozoans that cause disease. So protozoans are unicellular, eukaryotic, microscopic organisms. For example, Plasmodium species causes very common disease, that is malaria. And one more disease of protozoan, leishmania, that is caused Kala Azar disease, that is caused by leishmania. Leishmania that causes Kala Azar. So protozoans are unicellular, eukaryotic, microscopic organisms, and the examples are Plasmodium and Leishmania. Plasmodium causes malaria and Leishmania causes Kala Azar. So next pathogen we are going to study is helminths. Protozoans were the third number one, and next is the fourth, helminths. What are helminths? These are multicellular worms. These are multicellular worms, mostly present in intestine. These are multicellular worms which are mostly present in intestine. Example include tapeworm. Tapeworm, what it causes? It causes teniasis. And filarial worm, it causes filariasis. Next pathogen is the fungi. Number 5 is the fungi. Fungi are multicellular, eukaryotic, heterotrophic organisms. Fungi also causes so many infectious disease. Example, ringworm. Ringworm, it causes ringworm. Ringworm is a disease and that is caused by tinea. And it causes some skin infections. So, fungi are multicellular, eukaryotic, heterotrophic organisms. The disease caused by fungi are ringworm, that is caused by a fungi named tinea, and others. Some skin infections are also caused by fungi. Now we have completed all the pathogenic microorganisms. Now the reason comes why we are categorizing the pathogenic agents. So reason for categorization of infectious disease. Reason for categorization of infectious diseases. What is the need of categorizing this pathogen? Each group of organisms has some common traits and similar biochemical pathways. As a result, a drug that blocks one of the biochemical pathways peculiar to one group would be effective against many members. So for example, we are treating disease that is caused by fungi. So their biochemical pathway would be same. So we can take a particular type of drug for that fungi. First point is each group of organisms have some common traits and similar biochemical pathways. As a result, a drug that blocks one of the biochemical pathways peculiar to one group would be effective against many members of the group. Would be effective against many members of that group. Second, the antibiotics. We have studied about antibiotics. Antibiotics are have a specific function. They attack specific part of the pathogen. Antibiotics for bacteria have different types of nature of attack, like they inhibit in three different types. They inhibit the cell wall synthesis. They inhibit the DNA replication, and they may inhibit the ribosome formation. So here the antibiotics are specifically doing some sort of inhibition, cell wall synthesis inhibition or DNA replication inhibition or ribosomal formation inhibition. So we can see some examples of the antibiotics that are doing their particular phenomena, like cell wall synthesis. Penicillin inhibits the cell wall synthesis. DNA replication, ciprofloxacin is an antibiotic that inhibits the DNA replication of the bacteria. And ribosomal formation, example is streptomycin. So these antibiotics are active against the bacteria only. They do not act on virus. Now next is protozoans. For killing the protozoan, we use different types of drugs. Protozoans, infection, treated with different types of drugs. Fourth, antifungal for fungus. We use antifungal drugs for fungus. And we use vermicides for killing the worms. So if we know the type of bacteria or the pathogen, we can use the specific type of method for killing the microorganism. Now we would see how this communicable disease spread. So means of spread of diseases. These are of again two type. Direct transmission. Those diseases which can be transmitted directly are the directly transmitted. Direct transmission and indirect transmission. Direct transmission, it spread from the contact with infected person. Contact with infected person. Example of disease that spread through contact are chickenpox, smallpox, and AIDS. About AIDS, I would like to tell that it is a STD. STD means sexually transmitted disease. It is a sexually transmitted disease that this disease AIDS spread by the sexual contact with the infected person. Next is the contact with soil. Some bacteria resides in some bacteria are present in soil. When we get injured, these get inside our body by the injury. So contact with soil can also lead to the direct transmission of disease. Example, tetanus. Third, animal bites. Some disease can be transmitted from animal to us. Animal bites. Example, rabies. Rabies can be spread to a healthy person by dog. Fourth is the transplacental transmission. Example, the well-known example is AIDS. If a pregnant lady is having AIDS disease, it is obvious that the child would also develop AIDS because the AIDS virus crosses the placenta and reaches to the fetus and causes this disease to the upcoming offspring. Droplet infection. Droplet infection spread by sneezing, talking, coughing. For example, common cold, tuberculosis, pneumonia. So these are the disease which this is a method that is known as the direct transmission that causes the disease from a healthy person, from an infected person to a healthy person by contact with the infected person, contact with the soil, animal bites, transplacental transmission, droplet infection. Now we are moving to the indirect mode of transmission. Indirect, it means that it requires the intermediate for the transfer of disease from a healthy person, from a infected person to a healthy person. Vector, for example, disease malaria. Malaria is spread from a healthy person, from an infected person to healthy person by a vector known as female Anopheles mosquito. These mosquitoes spread the disease malaria from an infected person to a healthy person. Carrier. Carrier, the best example of carrier are housefly. Housefly carry the germs in their external parts and it carries the disease pathogen from an infected person to a healthy person. The most common disease are cholera, hepatitis, cholera, dysentery. Third, through contaminated food and water. Through contaminated food and water. If the food and water that we are taking in contains the pathogen, disease causing pathogen, then it's obvious that we would be getting that particular disease. For example, cholera, hepatitis. Through some disease occur by air, infected air, or we can say airborne diseases that occurs by some infected air. Example, common cold and pneumonia. So if we consume air polluted with common cold virus and pneumonia bacteria, then it's obvious that we would be having that disease. Next is the fomite borne. Fomite borne. Fomite borne means the articles that are touched by the infected person comes in contact with the healthy person, comes in contact with the healthy person. Example is the common cold. So here we have defined the means of spread of disease. On the basis of it was two types, direct transmission and indirect transmission. The next class we will be studying about the treatment of infectious disease.